Hello everyone, and welcome back. We're here for another round with McD Guitars. We'll be continuing on with our ES335 build here. We're getting pretty close. You saw me in the beginning doing some wet sanding, so means we got some polishing, some fret work, build a nut, polish off the little fancy ends, the truss rod cover, and all of our good stuff. And yeah, we'll get into some of that today. I think work on some polishing, and we've got some fret work to do, so that's what we'll be working at. But boy, it's been a while, huh? It's pretty awesome. During GGBO 2022 and 2023, I really polished up a lot of my skills of guitar building, and I was in a competition both years, so I had a deadline, and boy, now that I've got some skills to build a guitar and I'm not on a deadline anymore, it has been really nice. I've been able to let the nitro cure on the ES335 for 4 weeks, which definitely would have had me biting my nails in a competition. So it was really nice to let that sit. As we've been through all that waiting, I was like, what do I do with myself? So we've done a lot of good work. In one of the last episodes, I was talking about how I really wish I could build more than one guitar a year, and here I see myself sitting here, and I've got 3 and coming pretty close. So this is a Telecaster build I've been working on in the background for quite a while. My good friend Lindsay, the drummer, he always helps me out with great things. He wanted a Tele. He bought a pre-finished neck. We'll do the fret work on that. But I built a body for him, and boy, this color we came out with, I'll throw some pictures up here. It is really turning out good. It's one of those happy accidents that you have in staining. And we're not finished yet. We're going to do another round of blue on this, which will work our edge to where we want it, and anything patchy spots, if we need to come back with a little yellow or whatever, we're going to go there. But when you dig in, like you see in those pictures there, you really get blues, yellows, greens in every angle, and I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to turn out. So yeah, maybe we'll get into throwing some blue on this today and check that out. Another thing is we've got the PRS hanging out in the spray booth right now, and it's ready for its 11th coat of lacquer. So get a good couple rounds of lacquer on the PRS today. Maybe we'll bust out a little blue on this and see if we can finalize it. And yeah, we got 3 guitars we're finishing here. So, hooray for that. And now the piece de resistance, huh? We're getting pretty good. We do, we left this little grainy, and I'm gonna have to take some real soft bristle, and clear a little of this polish out of here and there. But boy, we are really coming along. I like where we're at. And yeah, we'll have to get to work and see what we can get going with all 3 of these. Like I said, I generally like to come up with a funny way of just wrapping fabric around the guitar, around the headstock and the body when we do fret work. And we'll tape the neck off, but as much of the finish as we can not put tape on, we're going to try to accomplish that. So yeah, it's been a while since we see you guys, and happy to be back, and let's get some work going today and see what we can finish up with these guitars. All right. Oh, and P.S. we've got more stuff going on, right? I forgot to mention, we've got our nice Redwood build coming along still. Gonna work with this. Been doing some studying, and I decided I'm gonna use epoxy to finish this. This wood is just so soft. We're gonna need something tough on there. We've got a lot of work done on the neck in between when you last see me and now. This guy's getting really close to size. We worked out a headstock veneer for that guy too. So yeah, I won't see much of this guy in the video today. This is like my behind the scenes when things are drying or I'm just waiting for anything. I'll just bust this guy out and whittle away. And I like how that volume's kind of got a curve on it. It's going to be smaller, it's pretty big. Yeah, we'll keep pecking away on this guy and show its updates as we go. So without any more interruptions, let's get in and see some work. All right. Here we go. by the end of this episode, we will have 18 coats on this guy, and it will be ready to cure for 4 weeks. So pretty stoked about that. I really want to wrap up this PRS and wrap up this Tele so we can start from ground zero on a fresh build. Have some plans on really getting a little more elaborate. My videos generally kind of jump around and skip parts, and I want to start a new build from scratch and really go into detail with decision making, plans, what we need to accomplish, and I think that should be good. As you can see here, man, it was a touch and go at some points, and by the end, this thing came out beautiful. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but Lindsay, he just loves it, and it does. Ash is always an interesting wood to stain, and this one really comes out with a little bit of iridescence almost, and the way those yellows, blues, and greens are coming through each other really looks nice. We have a couple rounds of lacquer on this already, and I don't know if it'll happen this episode, but we'll get some pictures of here and show how this is progressing. We got some really fun hardware for this one. Hopefully once we get it all together here pretty soon, we can check all that out. And yeah, I think the pick guard's even going to get a little custom paint job on it, so that should be cool too. Once that happens, we'll bring that back and get a picture going. But as we work through and start to get some detail going on the neck provided for this, I think it is a little bit on the cheaper side, not to be, anything to say with quality, but the fretboard is a little twisty, and I think it may give us a little bit of problems, so we'll cross that road when we get there. And hopefully we'll get some fret work done on that pretty soon. All right, well, on to polishing, huh? We're working through medium, fine, and swirl remover. All 3 steps, and, I'm still gaining experience on these things, and so I've really starting to develop that soft hand, but I find myself going pretty light and end up having to work back a step, whether I'm wet sanding or polishing. Taking the careful road and doing this all by hand, that does mean I'm spending some time doing it, but yeah, I feel it to be a work of love, not a big chore that is going to take me hours. The end result is pretty rewarding, and yeah, as you can see here, we're starting to look pretty good. This thing turned out pretty interesting. You got a certain angle, it looks pretty subdued, and you get that other angle, and that figure just pops. So really stoked the way this came out. I don't think we really knew what color it was going to end up with, but wow, that looks nice. I can be all right with that. All hail the magic Christmas sock. Like I said, the less amount of tape we can get on that finish, the better. It is satin cured for quite a while, but tape can do bad things to finish. So you can see we have most of the tape even kind of winged off on the neck there, trying to make the least amount of contact as possible. And yeah, our frets are pretty straight. This definitely could have been more work, but using the call and press system to put these frets in, I think I only had like 2 frets that were a little out, and they all seated well, but yeah, sometimes that just happens. And so there wasn't a ton of leveling that needed to go on, but what did happen, crowning this definitely took a while. It's stainless steel and it moves slow, but in the end, this one really came out nice. I like the way these frets end up, fret ends and the crowning on it. Say probably my best fret job yet. As I've worked with certain things, there's starting the erasing. It's about 6 hours of erasing. But as I've worked with things, working with Cerakote wood or stainless steel, I find when something's extremely hard, it's way more forgiving. Well, here we are. We're after about 3 hours of erasing last night, we're up to 2,000 grit, so only 2 more steps to go. Gonna take a little while here, and then yeah, once we get this wrapped up here, we'll start putting some hardware on this guy, huh? Maybe one last final little mini polish, and whew, let's get this guy together. All right. Well, I guess we got to make a nut if we want to put some strings on that hardware, huh? So, as you can see there, I'm really kind of focusing on keeping that level. Everything level so I can get a good side angle and keep it level. And I even wing off a little bit to keep up with the flare of the headstock, which happens to be out of frame. What happened there? I don't know. I don't know how I got zoomed in here and wasn't panned out to see everything that's going on. This is getting to some of my detail I want to do in future videos. You know, I know you can say that all you want if you do it, but when we start our next guitar build, like here, we would need to, you know, not only have all of our stuff in screen, but I want to start getting some different camera angles. You know, once I start cutting some slots in this nut, I should be flipping to an angle where you can actually see a slot going into the nut. But no, just kind of joking around with myself there. I was in a rush to get a lot of this done, not in a rush to make it happen, but I was feeling it. I was like, ooh, I'm on one, and a ton of work happened this day that I didn't video at all, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting so much done, I need to turn the camera on at least a little bit. So we catch a little bit of this here, and yeah, I was just having a really fun day. And, yeah, wrap up that little bit of work there, and we're gonna see a finished guitar here, or very close to being finished anyways. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this, and when we do our last video, we'll delve in and really get some close-ups and detail on all the hardware and that good stuff. All right, everyone, here we are at the end of another episode. Yeah, so we're still not there yet. The strings aren't low enough, but as I was cutting those final slots in the nut, I decided, hey, this is Vince's guitar, and he's just as good, well, actually not just as good, he's better at all this stuff than I am. So I'm gonna let him decide the final string height. It'll only take him a couple strokes of the file, so we're really close, we're almost there. Yeah, so we haven't done any intonation, any setup yet, obviously. And that'll be our final episode. Next episode, I'm gonna take this to Vince. I haven't decided how I'm gonna do it yet. You know, I'd like to have an episode where we kind of hung out and did our thing, but kind of realizing the time and effort that would have to go into that. And so I'm gonna be a little flexible and free about it. And we'll see how this thing gets finished up, but one way or the other, we'll be bringing it to you. We'll throw some good pictures. I don't think we've seen it yet, but our truss rod cover is an extension of the fretboard. I know I mentioned it a couple times, but you can actually kind of see it now. And it's funny, this fretboard is ready for another round of oil. The truss rod cover is a completely different color than the fretboard already because it soaked so much in. So we'll hit another round of that, and we'll keep keeping on. We've got a lot of stuff in the works. It's going to be pretty fun these next couple episodes. We got this Tele finishing up. Already cut a couple rounds of lacquer on that. PRS for me is finally finalizing. We're going to be ready for some wet sanding on that in a couple weeks. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and this one's coming together. We'll throw some good pictures up here at the end, and yeah, really proud of this one. Every guitar keeps getting nicer, so that's what we shoot for, right? And yeah, so once we do the final episode, we'll give a full rundown of everything and make sure everyone understands everything. And like I said earlier in the video, you know, with these videos, I'm kind of flying through here and there on different stuff, and if there's ever any questions you have about something going on with one of these guitars, just throw it down in the comments, and I'll get to you and let you know what I've got going on, and hey, you never know, maybe you let me know what you have going on. So again, we'll catch up with you guys next episode. Thanks for watching, and see you later.